I am back with the milk. I might be gone again. Eventually. As in, like, 3 weeks. I'm probably going to, I'm gonna be leaving the country again, but I'm gonna see about taking my computer with me this time so I can actually still stream while I'm gone. Because I don't wanna leave you guys high and dry for another, like, couple weeks in 3 weeks after I get back. Or after I had just gotten back. So I'm gonna figure that out. But, for now, yes, I'm back. And, with that, I think we'll properly get started here. Give me 2 seconds, just make sure everything is pulled up where I need it. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna be bitching about BL4 for the most part. Or I should say, I'm just catching up with, let me get my face up here. Hi, I'm back. So on the docket today, my camera's too low. But after that, there's a couple main things that I want to take a look at. I want to play around with Stool Trees, because I have some thoughts since I've been playing around with them in my free time that I just want to yap about. So a couple things on the Borderlands channel that I think I want to watch. I do want to take a look at the Vault Run thing that Jolt's posted. I haven't watched that yet. I don't know if I'm going to watch the entire thing, because I kind of don't want to, but I want to at least see what it is. And then I might take a look at Amon's Stool Trees. I was going to wait until those get, like, released with actual translations, but, who fucking knows when that's going to happen? So I'm probably just going to take a look at that. We'll see what's up, because I'm curious. I don't know what I want to start with here, though. I think the first thing I want to say is fucking thank God they're finally acknowledging that there's other Vault Hunters in this game. Good God. I can't believe how much Vex there had been. Randy Jiggles, damn right. Actually, you know what? Let's start with this shit. I have seen all the Vex stuff already. I'm totally down. You know what? Let's start here. Let's start with the fucking short. I'm sure everyone's seen this. Dude, this is actually just good. That is incredible. Let me turn that down a little bit. If you have not seen this, I'm going to be talking through it. Because it's kind of what I do here. You know, I love this shit. Honestly, I love cinematics. I love being able to, like, get a nice little glimpse into, like, especially with this. It's fun to see the actual, like, casual living side of the universe. We kind of get a bit of a hint at it and, like, a bit of an experience with it in this piece of shit. But this piece of shit is a fucking piece of shit. This is actually good. And I kind of like it. I fuck with the backstory. I think it's fucking funny, dude. I think her being just a fucking retail worker that suddenly gets siren powers on Black Fridays. Hilarious.
I've never worked counter in a sale.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know what to do.
I dropped shot. Something.
Keep pushing the warranties.
Like, again, just that, like, that moment there, it's so fucking over the top and ridiculous, but I love it. Like, that's the universe, right? Like, this man shooting himself in the head, telling her to continue pushing the fucking the capitalist agenda. That's fucking hilarious, dude. What the fuck? The fuck? What's the Borderlands 4 badge? Who are you? Welcome though, Lajovi. But no, like, that's just such a good way of showing that, like, even in the more civilized parts of things, people will just fucking kill themselves. That's based. That's epic. I love that shit. How's it going, Victor? Yeah, no, I haven't been around for a minute. But I fucking love this shit. I think they have, or it has been confirmed that there's gonna be a Rafa one, and I assume that probably means each character's gonna get
Changed my
one,
mind. I
which is
want that
fantastic.
warranty. The warranty is only available at the time of purchase. Give me that warranty.
This is accurate for retailers around like 2014. Yeah, no, Black Friday, does that even still exist? Oh, so this gun looks fucking crispy. I think that's a Torg. I assume that's a Torg, but that's fucking gorgeous. So Black Friday is in real life? I don't know, isn't it just all online now? God, just fucking... See, this is the fantasy right here. I worked retail once. I worked at a Spirit Halloween, and that was enough for me. That made me want to fucking shoot myself in the head.
No, I wasn't right.
See, it's also interesting. I don't know if they're gonna, like... So they've kind of mentioned previously how, like, sirens very intuitively get control of their powers. But, like, her immediately being able to just summon copies of herself is kind of wild, and I wonder if that's going to be something they'd touch on at some point with her. Definitely ain't making that warranty quota, though.
That really
It's a
happened.
rhyme, it's calmed
You
down
just got
astronomically.
magic
That's
siren
kind of been my
powers out of nowhere.
experience, too.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you became a vault hunter to get away from this store.
More
Oh,
or
so see,
less.
that's also big.
And
Look, we
became
get
a
the Harlow voice reveal.
That really happened. You just got magic siren powers out of nowhere? Yeah, pretty much.
So you became a
Disappointingly,
vault hunter
she
to get
doesn't
away
just
from
sound
this
like Tron.
store.
More or less.
And now you are
Unfortunately.
here on this forgotten world, battling terrible creatures and the dread robotic legions of an immortal tyrant.
Still there
Harlow
at the right
voice
sound?
lines. We also get
Oh.
Amon there.
Yeah.
I think Amon sounds fucking lame. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge Amon fan. At least not yet. I don't know. We'll see. I might take a look at his skills today. We'll see if that changes. But currently, I'm not super into him. Is there like anything? The customizations. I actually don't know if I'm actually gonna fucking watch a lot of this. Cause like, I mean, I don't know. This is a minute. We're off of abilities breakdown. I don't know if I care. I feel like I've seen a lot of his shit.
It's me, Rafa.
If you're a Krieger Brick fan, understandable. I wasn't super into Brick, but I was a Krieg fan. I don't know. It's more so just like, I think his skills are really cool. I just think as a melee character, like, this looks cooler. I think Rafa looks like a way more interesting melee character. But I do appreciate that Amon is, like, the classic, you know? Hold on, wait a second. What? Wait.
You didn't think.
What?
Looking good? Feeling good.
He has turrets? Where the fuck does he get turrets? Am I crazy? Is that a thing? I mean, clearly it's a thing, but is that a thing that was revealed previously? How do I go to Rafa? There we go. I thought the Peacebreaker cannons can be turned into turrets. Oh, I missed that. That's actually kind of cool. That makes that a way more interesting. Oh, it's the augments. Okay. Gotcha. That makes that a more interesting skill to me, though. I thought the fucking cannons were really lame. Being able to do that, if those draw aggro, that's actually huge. Which, hold on. Can we see if it draws aggro?
Feeling good.
Not really noticeable, at least there.
You didn't think we were finished. Did you? Yikes.
This fucking slaps, though, honestly, this trailer. God damn.
Here come the fireworks.
Accept fate!
You
has selected Die in a Screaming Inferno. Adios.
Holy
Has
shit.
selected
Hold on.
Die in a Screaming
That is
Inferno.
a big bitch. That is a big bitch. Holy shit. All right, that's pretty cool. That, you know what? That trailer has actually kind of made me come around to Rafa a little bit more. Like, I thought he was kind of cool, but the shoulder cannon being able to be a turret is really neat. Because that was my biggest issue with him, was like, disappointed as a Latino that the only thing he said in Spanish was adios. Hopefully there will be a bit more than that. But knowing Gearbox, who knows? It's weird they're showing off big main story bosses. I'm kind of not super into it. This would be like if they showed off Destroyer Tyrene during like the release cycle of BL3, which I don't think they did. That was like a huge shock that you fight Tyrene as a big ass monster. But yeah, that's why I want to watch this, but I also don't, because I kind of don't want to see the boss, so I probably won't watch the entirety of that. But you know, I kind of wish they would show a little bit less. That's kind of why I haven't been following a lot of shit recently. Is because I kind of don't want to see as much as they've been showing. I think the way they did BL3s was really good. We had that like one area of Promethea that we got like a big gameplay thing for, which was all right. That was a really early on section in the game. That was okay. And then we got like Mouthpiece when they showed off Moe's. We got like the little run up to Mouthpiece. And I think again, that was fine. That was really fucking early on in the story. Mouthpiece is a literally like the first boss. They showed him off. I think that was good. That's pretty much all we really got, aside from brief glimpses. I do think that we got shown a little too much with BL3 as well, but at least with that, we didn't know that they were Vault monsters. We got shown... I don't think we got shown Grave Ward. I can't remember. I know we got shown the Rampager, but it wasn't shown as a Vault monster. And I think that's, like, okay-ish. But... yeah, no, I think they are showing off a little bit much. Yeah, we'll skip that. But no, I think I'm gonna go through this one more time. I'm gonna watch this over again. This is actually making me like Rafa again. I've had a very interesting relationship with Rafa. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I find him boring or not. I do think Vex is easily going to be my main, but Rampager's really early too, considering how long 3 is. Yeah. So I'm like, that's not what I'm hoping. I'm like, it seems like they're showing off a lot. I'm hoping they aren't actually, and maybe we're wrong, but it does feel like they've shown off a lot.
You didn't think we were finished, did you? Yikes.
Oh. Yeah, Rafa's looking pretty cool. I might try to look at this briefly. We'll come back to this. This might be the last thing I do here. We'll see. Rafa might be my first character, depending on how Harlow is. Harlow looks fucking batshit, just from her passive alone.
Let's talk about the vaults. Before we do, though, I do want to give a big thanks to 2K for
Please
allowing
do.
me to show you this
Tell me about
gameplay early
the
and
tell me
allowing
about
me
the
to
vaults,
share all this
Mr.
information
Jules.
with you guys. Okay, so what are vaults? Well, if you played the franchise for a long time, you might be familiar with the vault. But in Borderlands 4, they took a different approach, and it's really, really cool.
That looks
Going back to
sick! Holy fuck! Hold on, what? Holy shit, dude. Okay, so I assume what this is gonna be is I think, to my understanding here, the vaults are like raids, right? Like they've made vaults like what takedowns were. This is just from what I've heard. I've not like seen this yet. This is just speculation before I get the answer. But I think that's a pretty neat way of doing them if they are actually making them like the repeatable endgame content. I think that's cool.
Borderlands 3, they did a little more with the vaults where you could like kill the vault monster and then you can walk into the vault, collect your story item, and then get a couple of red chests, and that was kind of all it was. But for Borderlands 4, they are a full-blown, like, mini takedown, almost like a trial.
There we go.
Like what we had in Borderlands 3. But you
Okay,
get
so
a
like the
much better,
trials.
much more interesting boss at the end. We'll talk about the boss and, like, show that in a bit. So as you can see in the background, we're playing Rafa at level 20, and yeah, it's not only for endgame. It's like you can do it during your...
That's neat. I like that. That was actually kind of one of my complaints somewhat with, what's it called? The trials. I love the trials, but I do wish that you could have actually picked them up before, like, getting to the end game. I think it would have been fun if it was something you could do during, just because the loot that you get from them is usually a little underwhelming, until you get to, like, true trials and shit, but the bosses look crazy. I'm gonna avoid the bosses here. But, you know, I'm not going to watch this entire thing because I don't actually want to see the bosses for the vaults. I just want to see how they are.
It's already confirmed that if you find vault fragments in the world, then you can take them and open up one of many vaults. So you can look at this as a playthrough activity or even endgame activity. It covers it all. Also, you might notice I'm not doing, like, crazy good at the vault. I try my best. But we were playing a demo version of the game that was scaled up to be more difficult. And...
Am I fucking crazy? Or does this really just look like Destiny? Like, I don't know, man. Something about this gameplay is just... It looks like a fucking Destiny raid.
I don't want to mention the skill tree, but, like, they spec random skills that have, like, no synergy with each other. And for the demo, we can't respec, so we just kind of have to use what we had. So yeah, the run seemed pretty difficult, and I didn't play the best, but I can assure you,
more of a
it was just a
Warframe
bad
vibe.
build, bad items.
I might just be thinking Destiny because it's first person.
Either way, you get to see all the content in the
Monkey
vault, so
brain.
don't worry about that. Anyways, let's go back to the beginning real quick. You can see when you jump into the game from the main menu, you load into the world within 2 seconds. 2 seconds! That's insane. I have no idea what kind of miracle they pulled off, but they somehow made the load times actually insanely fast. This is Unreal Engine 5,
Felt that with the
by
jump
way.
pad.
But yeah, load times are really
Maybe
good.
because I'm currently
For the
playing
demo, we were
Warframe right
already
now.
inside the vault, so we don't get to see, like, you know, using the vault fragments or entering it.
I don't know, man. I think it's just something with the HUD. I still really am not a huge fan of the HUD.
But
And
I will
just like
say,
how health
just like the
bars
rest
look.
of Borderlands 4,
I think that's still my
aesthetically, it's
biggest
beautiful. They
complaint.
did a really good job on that. And they really went with they want you to feel small inside this vault. So the map inside is not, like, extremely large, but, like, they space everything out. You know, you're taking jump pads to traverse.
I think okay, he's explaining this, and now I'm realizing why it looks like Destiny. It's exactly that. Destiny does that. It makes you feel very small in these areas, and it makes them very spaced out, like enemy spawns and shit. At least for most of them. Or at least most of the ones that I played. I don't know how I feel about that. I had an issue with it with Destiny.
And I think that's a good touch. Alright, so how do vaults work? Well, once you're inside, you can, you know, shop at your vendors before you take on the content. That
But
is
I
a
do
typical Borderlands
trust
thing. And then you take your jump
Gearbox
pads
to
and
do
you
it
first
better than
encounter.
Bungie.
Like I mentioned, these are similar to takedowns or
This doesn't
trials,
look
so you're gonna
bad.
have a mobbing area, a second mobbing area.
The only thing is, okay, this doesn't look bad for level 20 content. I'm gonna need more enemies than this if this is going to be a level 50 plus activity as well. If this is level 50 plus and we just have these little sprinklings of enemies that are kind of spread out really wide, that's gonna be a problem.
A third mobbing area, and then you finally have your big boss. There is a little bit more in between, but we'll get to that when we get there. So for this vault, we were taking on a bunch of Order guys, and if you don't know, the Order faction are like the enemies in this game to the Vault Hunters.
Like this, again, this looks good for level 20. If it stays this way in the end game, then this is going to be worthless.
They already found their way into the vault and are trying to
Well,
harvest,
not
like,
worthless, but it's
vault
going to be
tech.
boring as
Worth the
shit.
mobbings, whatever enemies that Gearbox wanted to throw into the vault.
The throwing
and then you
knives
take
are
them on
cool.
for a
God
challenge.
damn.
But yeah, lore-wise, I don't know if, you know, the Timekeeper or the Order Army have made their way into vaults and are doing their thing. So we need more information on that. Now, the mobbing does look pretty difficult, but I can assure you, it's just, you know, I have a bad build, bad weapons, and the enemies are scaled up to be more difficult. So I'm pretty sure, naturally, if you hit level 20, you're going to have a way better setup than this, but I had to use what I have. Now, I could go into detail talking about all the different types of weapons, the
Yeah. I think I've seen enough. I think it's a really cool idea. I think that's a really cool way to take the vaults. I'm hoping they make it a little more difficult. Because as it is right now, that seems kind of, it seems kind of easy, especially if that's supposed to be endgame content as well. But I think it's cool. I think it's neat. Now I'm really gonna bitch. So, I've been playing around with the still tree planner. God, my hair is fucking not cooperating today. Good God. I've been playing around with the still tree planner a lot. And I honestly think it has kind of confirmed everything I've previously said about the still trees. Let me explain why. Because now I can much more... I took notes for this. And I can now properly showcase exactly my issue with the still trees. The major thing is that I think the overall navigation through your stills is awful. Let me, to illustrate this, let me pull up Loot Lemon, okay? Let me show you how... Let me show you the difference, okay? So let's use Zane, because this is the one I know the best, all right? With Zane, are you going to leave the stream up on YouTube? Yes, it will probably take a minute for it to go up, though, because I need to make sure that I can trim it. It kind of just depends on how much other shit I end up doing. So it might take a minute before it goes up on YouTube, but I will leave it up on YouTube. At least this section. I'm going to cut out anything that isn't related to BL4, pretty much. But so when you navigate through your still trees, okay, you have 3 stills per thing, per tier. Or not per tier, but per whatever. You have 3 still trees, or 3 choices, okay? Within these 3 choices, you're pretty much choosing how you wish to maneuver down in your tree. So for Zane, let's just take his blue tree. It's the most basic one. It's pretty much always the same. You get 5 points. Okay, cool. I know 5 points here, but I also want 5 points here. So I'm now down here. You get 1 point here. Okay, I want seeing red. I want drone delivery, and I want 1 point in salvation. Now, I get to choose, again, how I wish to progress my tree from here. Okay? So, am I doing maybe, like, Jacobs? I could go for Cold Bore. You know, I go Cold Bore, max that, put, like, 3 points into Plant Dirty, 1 point Good Misfortune, and go Cool Hand, because that's more important than the fire rate. And then I go that. You see how I, like, went through that? Like, you see how you see the flow of that. You see the way that I make my decisions. I choose between options. And I can make that even more obvious over here, okay, with the purple tree. So here, I can go, all right, this still kind of sucks. Don't really need Renegade, ever. I'm going to ignore that. Mana Focus, a shit ton of accuracy, probably the best accuracy still in the game. This is fantastic as long as I'm using Mantis, or as long as I'm using something where I don't want Deja Vu. But let's continue on with the idea that I'm doing like a Jacobs build, or I'm doing like a rocket launcher build or something. I actually don't want Mana Focus. The guns that I'm using are going to be having enough accuracy as is. I want more ammo, right? I don't want to reload as much, so I can go Deja Vu, especially because I'm going to be killing things with crits a lot. I want Deja Vu instead of Mana Focus. Now here, again, very generic. We go here, because I want commitment, I want that cooldown rate, I want that crit, I want that fugitive. Now, again, I come to another choice. Art of War, but Art of War is kind of bad. And instead I could go Domino Effect for fire rate, reload speed, which is going to be very nice for my little Jacob setup I'm doing, right? Of course, you go Eraser. I mean, Zane's kind of a bad example just because there's not that much choice in his trees. Let me go somewhere else. let's do Moe's, all right? So Moe's, again, you're on like the same kind of boat though. It's like, I mean, I feel like I actually did illustrate it enough. My major point here is the flow of going through still trees is very nice. It's very simple, okay? You have each tier. You got your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Each tier is divided up into its specific stills. Pretty much you get to choose what you want to do. Your like through path is that, what did I write here? Yeah, okay. So, you get to determine what you want for your build, right? Your choices, all right, you spec what you want, okay? You put 5 points into the still that you want. And then from there, you can choose how you wish to progress down the tree. You can either progress down the tree by going for a tier 2, or you progress down the tree by picking up the other tier 1 that you want. And you carry that through, okay? There is like a clear path that you follow in your thinking when you're creating a skill tree in BL3. And any other Borderlands game. This goes for BL1, well, okay, maybe not BL1. This goes from like BL2 up to BL3. Any Borderlands game, there's that decision making. BL1, it's kind of there, just less so by the end game. But that's, I think, the beautiful thing of these is it's very intuitive, okay? Very, very intuitive. On top of that, when you do have a maxed out skill tree, okay, when you have all the things that you want in your skill tree, do you notice how I, just like that, hold on, let me just get rid of that. Perfect, right? Perfect amount of skills. Didn't overcap anything. There's not really anything that I would wish to put more points into this tree. I can now move on to another tree. I could overcap if I want to. If I wanted 5 out of 5 violent violence, I could do that. If I also wanted cold bore here, I could do that. I don't know why I'd want violent violence and cold bore, but if I wanted that, I could do that. Okay? Zane's a bad example for that specifically. But you can overcap if it's something that you want. I rarely ever do because most of the time, I get what I want out of a tree and I move on. Okay? Now let's come to BL4. Let me go back to Vex, because Vex is the one that I've played with the most. So BL4, you don't get that flow. My example would be Krieg's Blue Tree. You want melee or some gun boost, like explosive. Yeah, no. Again, I honestly, I think this was even more present in BL2 just because BL2 was more strict, I think, with what you kind of had to go for. BL2 had a higher ratio of, like, shit stills that you just wouldn't take. But it would be better to, like, visually showcase what I'm talking about here. But yeah, no, Krieg's a great example. I think Krieg is probably, like, the best example into because he's one of the characters that has a lot of different options. But, so here we go. Let's try to make a Vex build, all right? We're going to go Dead Ringer, okay? And the build that I want is I want, like, a soldiery Vex build, okay? This is something I've already, like, theory crafted up in Stole Trees previously. But I don't have those on hand to reference, okay? We're going to do this off the dome, soldiery Vex build. We're going to use, like, we're going to play around Dead Ringer like it's our fucking turrets, right? We're going to draw aggro. We're going to be shooting motherfuckers. That's what we're going for here, all right? Just, like, very generic kind of gun build Vex. Increase melee damage and max health. All right, we'll maybe come back to that. I know she has some stuff in here that, like, plays around with that. Cold Iron, Vex and remains increased stun damage. Okay, I'll put 5 points into that. Idle Hands, gain reload speed based on the fullness of her health. Oh, that could be nice. Vex and minions regen. All right, well, we could get a little bit sustained. We'll maybe come back to that if we need it, but let's come down to tier 2. Vex and her minions gain increased fire rate for a duration. Okay, well, you know what? That would be very nice, especially because we have this, or where was it? Yeah, we got this up here. We could maybe get both of those, and then we'd have fire rate and reload speed. Those are two very good things for a gun type of build. Status effect damage, melee attacks apply cursed, making them take kinetic status effect damage. Whatever. Could be good. That sounds like it could be great. You know, assuming that's actually like good, that could be insane. Get some fucking dot damage going on. But okay, let's go fire rate. Take a little look down here. Kill stills are triggered whenever Vex's minions die. That could be great for fucking keeping up kill stills. Only 1 point, you know, that's fantastic. Deal increased damage. Ooh, a damage still. Definitely want that. Oh, look at that. Huh. I've capped out this. I've gotten 3 stills. I'm halfway through my still tree, but I've capped out this section. I can now move on. But what about, like, cooldown rate? Trigger my kill skills, you know? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I take a point out of there and go here. But I don't know. But you know, okay, let's just whatever. It's okay. We can overcap, right? We can get the things we want. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's go around here. We'll grab the things that I want out of this. Okay. What is this? Minion melee damage and deals increased damage. Okay, yeah. Well, we'll grab that. Okay. Well, I kind of put a lot more points than I felt like I needed to in there, but yeah, you know, Grave Quickening feels pretty necessary. Is it what is the cooldown on it? Is it bad? I don't actually know what it is. Anyways, this is just to like showcase. We'll get to actual builds in a second. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I feel after bitching about this. But okay. Now I get to choose my trees, right? So we could either go like corrosive, we could go incendiary, but okay, actually hold on, let me see which ones are these. I need to refresh. It has been a minute since I've looked at this shit. Deal bonus damage with gun critical hits. Whoa, that sounds awesome. Bonus damage is a random elemental type that changes on reload and is increased for each active attunement. Whoa, that's epic. That's the one I was looking for. I don't think there's anything else in this tree I actually want. But okay, so this is kind of the thing. All right, that's cool. I like that still. That's really neat. I want that. But now I have to go back to one of these where I have no progress put into them. You know? I spent 5 points, but I don't really get any more progress because that's the only thing I want out of this tree. But that's okay. I only have 19 more points. I only have 19 more points. Ugh. I don't know. Okay. I feel like I'm just grunting and moaning at this point. I should, like, explain my thoughts here. This sucks. I'm having a terrible time. I don't know if any of you have played around with this, but, like, it just does not have the same flow. And I've used 30 out of my 49 still points. And I'm not even at a fucking capstone yet. I'm not at a capstone yet. So now, what I could also do in this situation is, okay, well, maybe I go to a different fucking tree. But if I go to a different fucking tree, say I just want fucking Dead Ringer and skills up here, okay? I get one of these. I won't get a capstone. I cannot go for Dead Ringer. I can't go to fucking, like, Incarnate, which is a better gun tree, despite Dead Ringer probably being a better tree for fucking, like, gun builds. It sucks. It kind of sucks ass, I'm gonna be honest. Like, your capstone being locked down here and being completely tied, like I say, you do have these. These are effectively fucking capstones, as well. But, like, these are your actual named capstone things, which you would not be able to get if you wanted to use Dead Ringer and then, like, go Incarnate, or, like, Green Tree for the better gun damage things. We're assuming you only have 49 still points? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a safe bet, just with how they've been talking about it. It seems like they don't want there to be that many still points. Like, it seems like 49 is a safe guess. It could be. I could be wrong. I could be entirely wrong. You could be absolutely right that, you get more than one still point on some levels, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. Dead Ringer is going to be mainly for dot builds and melee builds until the level cap increases. Exactly. And this is precisely the point that, like, people said I was fucking retarded for saying, where despite us having way more options than ever in our skill trees, we are more limited than ever because it is difficult to navigate this shit when you are being locked out of so much stuff. Like, again, so you only need 15 points up here to move down. But there's so many good stills up here. I've put 25 points in here. I don't even feel like I have everything that I want. And none of that progress carries over anywhere else. I need another 15 to get to my, or another 10 minimum to get to my capstone, another 15 if I want my capstone skill. I don't know if this is something that is like fixable at this point. I don't think the solution is just making, I don't know. You know what? The solution might be just making progress carry over through everything. Like, that might be it. That also might not be it. I don't personally think that is it. I think that would be bad. I just think that this skill tree system is not great. I'm not a huge fan of it personally. I think it's really rough. Again, here we can do the same sort of thing in green, because I think green I really had this problem in too, where green at least has more like gun damage related stuff. So like we can do, yeah, we'll get our lifesteal, of course. You know, you gotta get that lifesteal. Splash damage is good. Oh, and what's that? Crit damage. That's awesome. So do we see the issue that I've now immediately run into, potentially? Dude, where I have, in an attempt to maximize my damage formula, okay, because I want splash damage and I want crit damage, right? That's fantastic. That's awesome. That's so cool having that in both tier 1s. And then, you know, I wanted a little bit of lifesteal, but okay, let's cut it back a little bit. You know, maybe we don't need that much lifesteal. Maybe it's gonna be like BO3 where lifesteal is just absolutely bullshit, okay? Gun damage. You know, I've still already hit the point where I'm not progressing anything by putting more points in here. And there's still grave power that increases your fucking kill stills by 3 points. Or, by literally fucking +3, I believe. I assume. I actually don't know how that stacks. But, like, oh, kinetic damage. Like, I don't know. This feels like shit. Whether or not it is actually bad, this feels like shit. Putting this many points into a tree just for no progress to be made elsewhere, to me it feels bad. I don't like that. I hate overcapping unless I like want to. This feels like it forces me to overcap my trees in different sections. And I hate that so much. Director made it sound like we're getting level cap increases. I hope so. I fucking hope so. I know they said some shit about how like how it does become an issue where there's too many skill points, and it was nice for them to acknowledge that. But genuinely, if there was ever going to be a Borderlands game where fucking level 72 would actually be a pretty decent fucking cap, it's probably this one. I just don't, the way they talked about it doesn't sound like we're going to get to like 72. I'm hoping we at least get to 60. I think like 62 is when the real game will begin. But until then, most builds, I'm just clicking random shit here to be clear. Most builds are probably gonna look like this. Or actually, probably not even that. It'll probably look more like fucking this, where you just have a bunch of fucking shit in your tier 1. Like, again, it's just randomly clicking. This is probably what most builds are gonna look like. Because the way that it seems like most of your good general shit is in this top section. And then each branch is good for more specified shit. Which, like, kind of makes sense. But I hate it, man.
Oh, fuck yeah!
I hate it. Thank you for the, oh god, I can't see it. Thank you for the follow, Credo. Welcome, brother. Is more still points going to solve this? I think the tree progressing needs to be reworked. So, no. More stills does not solve this problem. It doesn't solve the progression problem. More stills is effectively a Band-Aid fix to it. because it's just like you can ignore it if you have more skill points to where it doesn't feel as bad wasting them. Or wasting them. It's not a waste. I'm being a little dramatic here in my wording, but a higher level cap is just more of a band-aid fix. I think so. The main issues that exist with BL4's still progression and just still trees is being effectively forced to overcap your trees in a way that really just doesn't feel good. Potential side issue with that is just progress not flowing through. Like, again, I don't know if this is better or worse, if it's just all one progression thing, and like one progression track. I honestly think it wouldn't be that bad if each tree just progressed normally. Like, if you got to this point and it just kept going. I don't think it would be that bad because of how self-contained each branch feels anyways. I think it wouldn't be that big of an issue if you could, like, put a bunch of points over here. Hey, thank you for the follow, Judy Hops. Welcome. I'm sorry to hear about your abortion. I'm sorry. But with how self-contained the trees are, I really don't think it would be that big of an issue if you could just, like, put fucking 15 or like 10 points in here and then just, like, grab blood as power without putting any points in this branch. I feel like that wouldn't be that bad. But again, who knows? I feel like that's probably not going to go anywhere. But again, it's just the forcing you to overcap shit feels bad. I almost think that could be fixed a little bit just by, like, moving the skills. Like, hear me out here. If let me take a screenshot of this so that I can, like, draw. So hear me out, all right? Say you, like, took this branch, like this little section here, okay? And you put it here. If you reoriented this still tree, I think it would instantly feel better. Like, just give it a rotate. Like, you know? It's like this, do this. I think that would be fucking... It would feel better. That's the thing. That's like the big issue with the tree progression is it feels bad currently. If they just made it feel better, I think it would be better. It would delay you getting down here. But again, I think reorganizing the tree is like step one. That's the one thing that they could do that would make this a bit better. Step two, which would be a little bit more difficult, is, and what I don't think could actually be fixed at this stage, is the way that capstones are. I think it's just bad. Again, it really locks you down into your tree that you select. It locks you down into your action still. Like I was saying, you can't go dead ringer, not cap out, and then go incarnate for, like, the rest of your stills, right? Like, you go incarnate, okay? You get all the way down to fucking your capstone. You can't use this capstone. It's just worthless to you. So I almost feel like maybe this might be a terrible idea, but maybe you swap these. Like, maybe you put the final augment down here and the capstones up here so that, like, say you are doing that where... Can I just reset? Yeah. So say you are doing that where, like, you put points in here, but you don't go into any of the branches. You can immediately grab your capstone. Right? Rather than, you know, doing that and then coming all the way down here for the shit you want. And then it's like, okay, well, I have the shit I want. I have the stills that I want, but I literally can't use this capstone, and I don't have a capstone for my actual still that I'm using. So again, it's just like, I think that's the other issue, is you can't really mix and match trees that well. It kind of punishes you for mixing and matching. To be clear, you're talking about skill progression during leveling, not endgame build crafting. No, I'm talking about, like, just the skill trees as a whole. By progression specifically, I mean the way that you progress through your trees with, like, your thought process. I talked about this a little bit earlier. With BL3, you have there's clear choices that you have to make. I'll just repeat myself real quick because I know a lot of other people have joined. BL3, BL2 to BL3, like BL2, TPS, and BL3, it's all this way. You kind of choose what you want to do. So you have specific ways that you can progress through your tree. Why is this not working? Okay. You have specific set ways that you can progress through your tree. Okay. And pretty much what it comes down to is you choose your first skill. I'm now in tier 2. Okay. And then you can either continue on by progressing through your tree in tier 2, or you can grab a tier 1 to go down in your tree. But oops, here I still need more points. Again, you get to make another choice. Okay. This is fantastic. This makes build crafting very, very intuitive. While there's a lot of complexities to making a good build versus just making a build in BL3, anyone can make a build in BL3 because the trees kind of fucking guide you through it. Do you feel guided? When you look at this, does it like... It's a mess. I feel like again, I think it's too wide. I think that's the issue. I think it's too fucking wide. Maybe capstones are less relevant, much like they've done with legendaries this go around. I don't think that's the case. I mean, we can look at capstones like Trouble now gains Overshield whenever he deals damage. While Face Familiar is active, Trouble gains an elemental aura, dealing ordnance damage over time to nearby enemies. That sounds really good. Chance to create an illusion near the enemy when dealing damage. Critical hits have a double that chance. This sounds game-changing. Trouble now mark his current target, causing him to take increased gun damage from Vex. This also sounds game-changing. Oh yeah, no, there's more. Kill still. When a marked enemy is killed, Trouble gains a stack of Unsealed for a duration, granting health regen and increasing damage while Face Familiar is active. Unsealed effects are doubled. Like, this shit's big. Like, it's not just small stuff. Some of them are. Like, this is the other issue that I have. Oh, right. That was the third issue. The third problem that I hadn't touched on yet, I said there was 3 issues. This is number 3. Capstones and power level and consistency. Okay? So, here. Let's take this one for example. Okay? Let's take a look at this. We just all read that. That's a lot of shit. That's kind of ridiculous. Which one is it? There's one I'm thinking of. Actually, here's another insane one. Spectre's needing a copy of Vex's currently equipped gun for a duration. Y'all remember Double Barrel? Game changing. Yeah, okay. I think that most of the Eldritch Blast ones I think are kind of underwhelming. No, that one's pretty good. But this one is Eldritch Blast creates hazards, dealing damage over time for a duration, and it homes. It's like, okay, that's alright. But that's alright. But that's not fucking Unsealed. That's not fucking Heirloom. But it takes the same amount of effort to go get it. Along with that, we have the actual, like, capstone skills that aren't called capstones, but are capstones. However, inconsistent. So down here, one capstone is 5 points. One capstone is 1 point. One capstone is 3 points. Okay. Why? Why? Why is it that if I decide I want to go down this way, if I want to get the full effect of my capstone, why do I have to spend 5 points? When here, if I wanted the full effect of my capstone, I just spend 1. Granted, this capstone is worse, but that's not always the case. I would say that this is better. I would thank you for the how many months is that, brother? The 25 months guest. Welcome. But no, so this is, I don't know why I actually did that. This gives you bonus kinetic damage with guns based on lifesteal when our health is full. That sounds pretty damn good. 3 points. Increased radiation damage and radiation status effect damage. 5 points. You still need to get down into your fucking capstone tier. But that one's 5 points. When instead, over here for 3, you get bonus kinetic damage. Why? Like, it makes no sense. It feels fucking arbitrary as hell, but they're doing this, I guess, because they really want to show that, like, these are not capstones, but they are. They just aren't in name. These are still power. Okay, maybe not this one. Maybe this one's not a capstone, but, like, that's capstone powered. This one, this is like capstone. That's like it's giving your fucking pet another attack. That's just shock and status damage again. That is capstone. Getting another charge on your fucking skill? That's capstone. Throw daggers from both hands? Capstone. Increased fire damage. Because that's the other thing. Some of them have 2! What? Some have 2. Why? Who fucking knows? But if you wanted both your capstone skills down here, that's 6 extra points that you have to fucking dump into this tree. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. I just think that they're poorly designed. They don't seem to be evolving the side stills from BO3. This looks like a scrapped draft for BO3. This game will feel like you can do less than the previous one. Exactly. I'm really glad that this is actually starting to be a bit... okay, I should say. I see it more around me that, like, this is starting to become more of a sentiment. I have seen, like, some fucking... I saw an article about it, actually. I saw an article... talking about Redditors bitching about new still trees and, like, calling them stupid for it because, you know, that's just what gaming journalism is nowadays, is finding a random-ass Reddit post and calling the person stupid. Wait, it's actually 11 because you have to max out Haru specs to get pink. Oh my god, you're right. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, that's even worse. I forgot about that as well, that there's also now stills that, like, are completely tied to you having another still, which, like, kind of makes sense for some of them, but yeah. Like, that does make sense, but yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, I think it's going to... I think it's going to be a common sentiment when people actually get their hands, like, in, like, on the game itself, when people are actually making builds and shit. I think people are going to realize that just because you have more options does not mean that you are not being limited. And that was my point from my very first video about this, is that yes, we have more options than ever. We have more opportunity than ever. But alongside that, we are being so much more limited in how we navigate and what we can and can't do. But yeah, I think the choices you have to make in BO4 and how you have to make them feels more interesting, but it's different preferences, I suppose. I'm into it. See, my thing is, I just feel like it doesn't, like... It feels less like it's guiding you through it, and it feels more like it's just throwing these skills at you, and it's like, figure it out. You know? Like, there's no flow to it, is my big thing. There's no flow in making a skill tree here, because... Oops. Because you're kind of just going to put points where you want them, and there's no trade-off, right? Because, again, say I'll go back here. I want splash damage. I want crit damage. I want gun damage. I want lifesteal, and I want kinetic damage, okay? I can now go anywhere I want. I'm not locked out of anything, like any path. I can just go anywhere I want, right? And I've got what I want. Granted, I've now like used a lot of points in places where they aren't progressing my tree, but it kind of doesn't matter because like you don't need that much space to progress your tree anyways. But if I then wanted to go to a different tree, that's when it starts mattering. I've used all these points in places where they don't progress my tree to get what I want, but then there's more that I want in this tree, and now I'm far more limited in my secondary tree. So I do understand where you're coming from. This is just like, I totally understand your perspective. Of course, this is personal preference. But like, I'm just trying to more so explain this because I want to make sure I'm coming across clear. A lot of people seem to misunderstand what I'm saying when I talk about this shit. I also want to be clear. I'm excited for this game. I need to be clear about that too, because that's another thing that a lot of people seem to not get, is that I am bitching and complaining about this shit out of love for this game. I'm so excited for BL4. I'm gonna play the shit out of this game. I'm pre-ordering it, alright? The only reason I haven't yet is because I haven't decided what platform I want it on. The second I figure that out, it's pre-ordered, baby. But no, it's like, I want this game to be good. And that's the thing. Like, I want this shit to be the best that it can be. I don't think that this is it. Genuinely, I think, Judy, I think that's a great point that you did mention with it just feeling like a scrap draft for BL3. This does feel like how it does. It genuinely does. It feels like a backpedaling from how they did it in 3, where the skills and augments and shit were completely not, like, they were tied to tree progression. They weren't tied to literally being what tree you took, right? I mean, okay. They were, but I mean branch. They weren't tied to a choice that you had to make in your tree. They were a separate set of choices. Now, it is directly tied to which branch you choose to go down. This again, it's more limiting. it all comes back to that. It's just more limiting overall, despite more choices. I think I'm going in circles. I feel like I've said my point on this. I'm so sorry for anyone watching this after the fact who just listen to me rant about the same thing over and over again. But also, I imagine if you're watching this back on YouTube, that is precisely what you came to listen to me do. So yeah. Let's take a look at Amon. I'm interested, even though that this like isn't whatever it's told. We're not gonna listen to this guy. Thank you to Mr. Brian Central for uploading this though, but I'm gonna go through this myself. So where is it? Okay. So Onslaught, this is, I believe, his actual skills, or like his passive thing. The big boy. Amon overloads his iron making, gaining continuous post-protection recovery. Bonus firearm. Oh god, this is going to be rough, isn't it? Bonus firearm burning damage and increased movement speed. Okay. So I'm assuming that means overshield. And that is he is gaining... Or wait, so this is his skill. Okay, so this is his active skill. Gotcha, this isn't his passive. I'm stupid. So this is an active skill. He activates it. He gains continuous overshield generation, bonus fire damage on his guns, and increased movement speed. You can press it again to launch Rocket Fist, rushing forward to the targeted enemy and causing burning melee attack damage within the close range, while causing the enemy to build a map. Interesting. You force them to build a map. You force them into servitude. But yeah, so, okay. You punch things. You go goo goo gaga crazy mode and then beat the shit out of stuff. Kind of epic. There we go. Okay. Driving Force. Kill skill to increase Amon's shield recovery rate and... Okay, so you kill, you get increased shield recovery and movement speed. Interesting. That'll be good for melee shit. Increases Yaye's burn damage. I did watch a little bit of this. The guy says that is either just Amon's name being translated, or that might be like one of his weapons. I assume, given what this tree is, though, that's probably his name. Like, that just increases Amon's burn damage. Which, This is a tier 1 still. Okay. Increasing his burn damage. Intriguing. I don't know. It's just, I think they need to be reorganized. I think the still trees are a little bit confusing, a little bit arbitrary feeling this time around. It gains melee critical strike rate. Interesting. So I wonder, that probably means that melees can't crit by like slapping them in the head like you could in some other games, but he can get a crit. That's kind of cool. Maximum capacity and maximum super shield capacity. Okay, so that is max shield capacity and max over shield capacity. Likely. Melee damage and still damage. Rocket Iron now has 2 modes, increasing both the radius and dealing bonus damage based on Amon's max armor. Pressing the still, Rocket Iron will cause burning melee attack damage. Pressing Rocket Iron will deal freezing melee attack damage. Okay. So this sounds like... I mean, this is for the rocket punch, right? It sounds like the translation on how you actually choose between this is confusing. I actually, no, you know what? It's probably left and right. It's probably you press left or right and then you cast, maybe? I don't know. You do something, you can choose between incendiary or cryo damage on your rocket punch, I believe. That's kind of neat. Weaken enemies deal less damage and take more damage. Or wait, combat damage and weapon damage have a chance to inflict weakness on the enemy for a period of time. Deal less damage and take more damage. That sounds cool. Did they actually successfully make a tank? Is that... Hold on. I might actually be interested in Amon now. If they actually made a fucking tanky character that's like legit tanky? Did Gearbox actually do it? That's gonna be fucking crazy if they did. They're learning how to make characters that aren't just fucking DPS machines. While on the attack, Amon fully regenerates his health and shields and is surrounded by a Forge Storm, dealing burning status effect damage over time to nearby enemies. Killing an enemy in the Forge Storm will restore the duration of Yalu's active skill. I assume Amon. Amon's active skill and increases the Forge Storm's something. That's pretty cool. So this sounds like... This almost sounds like you do like some drain tanky stuff. Like this tree almost sounds like fucking Graveborn. That's kind of sick. Now there's no doubts Amon will be my first character. I'm getting more into him. That kind of fucks. Increases Amon's status effect damage and duration. We'll see how useful that is when the game comes out. Oh, that's the other thing I want to mention. Please keep in mind that there's absolutely no way to know exactly how stills are going to work until the game comes out. I have seen so many videos about people making builds and uploading fucking videos on them, and the game ain't even out. And I'm like... There was so many build trees, or like still trees floating around before BL3 released. And then it released, and all of them were ass. So just keep that in mind when you... Like, I'm not saying this to discourage playing around with the still trees. Definitely play around with the still trees. It's really fun. But just keep in mind that when the game comes around, it probably will not translate. Any knowledge you pick up right now about how characters are going to work and what stills are going to be good or bad, it will not carry over. The biggest example of this that I remember from BL3 was Trick of the Light. Oh, fuck. I need water. Was Trick of the Light. People thought that this thing was going to be batshit. People thought fucking Trick of the Light was going to be the most broken skill in the game. This is one of the worst skills. I don't think I've ever fucking used it nowadays. It has been buffed. It's been buffed to a point where it is somewhat useful. But even then, I rarely ever use this thing. I just remember people were all over Trick of the Light. There is a possibility of rebalancing stills as well. Yeah, like nothing that we see right now is permanent, which is why I'm making such a big deal about fucking trying to speak my shit about this stuff. Like, again, I'm doing this because I want this game to be as good as it can be. There were people that thought a second player riding Iron Bear was going to be meta. Yeah, I remember that shit. When when the meta actually turns out to just be Moe's riding Iron Bear herself. Moe's fucking sitting in Iron Bear and letting it do everything. Or like, those are my favorite fucking builds. The ones where you literally exit Iron Bear, let Auto Bear fucking do its thing, and you just kind of chill in the baby seat. It's a good build. Okay. After Amon activates the forging skill, he will be temporarily immune to all damage. They fucking did it. They made a tank. They made a tank. They made a tank. Holy shit. All he needs is fucking aggro control. If he has a skill that draws aggro. Come on. Bullet Storm, a nice little reference to Gearbox's other game. When Amon applies a status effect, his gun damage is increased for a period of time. When Amon causes gun damage, his active skill cooldown rate is increased for a period of time. He needs... Okay, there's two things he needs. He needs to be able to deal damage by taking hits. Okay? And he needs to be able to... whatever I said prior to that. Take aggro. He needs to draw aggro, and he needs to do something when getting hit. And then we'll have, like, an actual fucking tank. Super protection when dealing melee damage. I assume that's overshield. So he has a lot of overshield, likely. Again, this is all very rough translations. So, who knows what this actually means. This could all be fucking nothing. When Amon's shield is broken, he will gain health for a period of time, increasing his reload speed and lifesteal. Never mind, this game fucking sucks. I'm over it. This game's ass. 3 out of 4 Vault Hunters so far have lifesteal. Why do rep kits exist? I thought they were going to fix this. I thought rep kits were going to mean no more lifesteal. It seems to be the exact fucking opposite. Why does every character have lifesteal? Every single one so far. Again, maybe Harlow won't, but... Fuck me, dude. Amon gang, I was a Zane man. I'm into old dudes, I guess. I can't fucking believe this shit, dude. Lifesteal. Lifesteal, of course. It's unescapable, I guess. Fallen Frost pressed immediately after launching the rocket. Quit. Okay. So after using your rocket fist, you can melee again for a follow-up attack, causing an area of freezing or a large area of freezing melee attack damage in front of Amon. Okay. That's kind of cool. You get a nice little follow. You hit him with that 1-2 fucking wombo combo. That's kind of neat. Honestly, that seems more like... Again, the fucking placement of this shit is so weird to me. I feel like that should be up more. Like, I feel like that I don't know. I guess it is more melee focused. This has been more melee focused so far. The other one's more general. Yeah, okay, never mind. Scratch that. I take that back. Violent. That better just be the fucking, the actual name of this. Just violent. That's funny. When Amon activates the forging skill, he will enter a frenzy state for a period of time, gaining immunity to receiving damage, presumably, and his gun damage and melee damage will gain added frost damage. Okay. Kill skill. When Amon kills an enemy while in a frenzy, the duration of frenzy will be partially restored and the bonus frost damage will be increased. Okay. Am I crazy, or did we hear these two skills previously? This might just be a translation issue, but I feel like both of these skills exist in that tier 1 already. So either there's just multiple that do the same thing, or this translation is just off, which very well could just be the translation. So I will not speak much on that yet. When Amon's shield is broken, it will restore part of the shield and detonate, dealing cryo damage. So it's just a built-in Nova. That's kind of cool. Increases maximum health capacity. The higher his health, the more melee damage he causes. Well, he's going to be full health constantly. He has fucking lifesteal. Scorching Smash is now Frostblade. Hold F to swing a massive forged axe, sending a wave of forging that deals icy melee damage and freezes enemies it passes through. Enemies killed by Frostblade will explode, dealing frost damage. That's kind of cool. That sounds like a fucking capstone. And then remember, homing shots. That's also a capstone. When Amon causes melee damage, there's a chance to activate a kill skill. Very nice. Only blood red. When Amon kills an enemy while in a frenzy, the duration of the frenzy will be partially... Oh, no, that's still down there. Here we go. Maybe health kits and overshield will be an option for those who do not want lifesteal in this game. I mean, yeah, but they should just not have lifesteal in this game. That's the thing. They should just get rid of it. They have these systems that should make lifesteal obsolete, and yet now we're getting lifesteal with these systems. So you're going to be fucking unkillable. Like, okay, look, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going to make an ass of myself, okay? I remember this moment, okay? Either to laugh at me or it's for me to be able to say that I was right. People thought fucking BL3 was easy. It's not going to be shit compared to BL4. I think BL4 is going to be the easiest game in the franchise. I'm saying that very confidently. Not that that's a bad thing. I don't personally give a shit. I'm going to be honest. I don't care. As long as it's fun and I get to do fun build crafting stuff, I don't care about the fucking difficulty or whatever. But I think that going down is going to be very fucking difficult. Okay. Let me actually, I'm walking it back immediately. There's two options. Either this game is going to be really fucking easy, and you're going to have to fuck up really hard to die between Overshield being in every fucking skill tree, rep kits existing on every character, and fucking lifesteal existing on every character. You're going to have to try really hard to die, or you're going to be dying fucking constantly, and it's going to be frustrating. Those are the two options. Either they don't balance for this amount of fucking sustain in the game, or they overcorrect. Either way, this section is not actually serious. I wish I didn't need to clarify that, but I do need to clarify that. That entire fucking thing there was not at all serious. I am not a fucking psychic. I don't know how this game is going to be. I have not played it. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will hear me say that and think I'm being 100% legit. So I need to clarify that I am not. Anyways. Damage and damage reduction will increase based on the distance from enemy. So, yeah, you get increases the closer you are. I do think that as well. I see some gameplay that people said it was harder, but people barely used action stills in the gameplay and had predetermined gear, and it does look like the game will be less fast-paced compared to 3. That's the thing, like, I think it'll be fine. The thing is, I don't honestly think there was much of a fucking change in difficulty between, like, BL2, TPS, and 3. I feel like all of them are not that hard of games. But I do think that, like, this is going to cause problems. I don't know in what way that this is going to cause problems. But I think having this amount of sustain is going to cause issues. I just don't know in what way. But yeah, I don't know. I think lifesteal should be done away with. I don't think it's balanceable. Not only do I not think it's balanceable, I think it's really uninteractive. I think it's boring. I think lifesteal it's just free health, you know? Health regen, you have to play around in how you engage with things, and you have to change how you play at different health levels. Overshield, even, again, you have to be doing something to get it. Rep kits, they have a cooldown. Transfusions, you have to waste a grenade slot. You need to throw the grenade. You need to wait for them to show up. Every other health regen system in this game is interactive. Lifesteal, on the other hand, you shoot your gun, which you were going to be doing anyways. You were going to be shooting your gun no matter what. It's fucking Borderlands. That's just something you were going to do anyways. Now, on top of it, you're also healing your entire health bar back. It's just not fun. It's boring. It's lame, and it's strong as fuck. Especially when they do, like, endgame tiers with how they have been doing them. I feel like, honestly, that won't be as much of an issue. I think you will need higher percentages of lifesteal in BL4. I don't think they're going to make the same mistakes that they did with BL3 and BL2. But I think even with that, even if you find a way to perfectly balance it, I think it's still just way too much reward for doing nothing. The only time lifesteal is not active is if you're reloading. Or, like, if you have a slow-ass fire rate. But even then, it's not that big of a deal. Said there won't be anything like mayhem still in this game, so I suppose the hope is lifesteal is something that requires actual investment instead of just a single point to always fully heal. But that's the thing, even when you invest the skill points, there's no investment in gameplay. I think that health regen, or again, just literally any other form of sustain, is way more interesting gameplay-wise than lifesteal is. I think lifesteal is a black stain on this fucking franchise. I think if none of these games had lifesteal, they would actually just be better overall. Presumably that they were balanced without it, I should say. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it sucks. I think there shouldn't be lifesteal, and the fact that there's this much lifesteal along with all these other systems, I think it is going to cause problems. Anyways, let's continue, because we still haven't even gotten through his fucking red tree yet. When launching an onslaught, dealing gun damage to an enemy... Oh god, okay. What? So is this when he activates his skill, probably. Dealing gun damage to an enemy will put them into a ready state for a period of time. When they die or are damaged by a forge install, they will explode, causing burning damage to nearby enemies. I don't totally understand what I just read. That is surely a translation. But it makes people explode and has to do with your skill. That's what I'm getting from that. Burn the barrier. The higher Amon's shield value is, the higher his fire rate and status effect rate will be. Gun crits have a chance to inflict weakness on enemies for a period of time. Weakened enemies deal reduced damage. So this is more weakened. That's very cool. When Amon uses melee attacks to cause damage, some of his current gun's ammunition will be replenished. So he just has a built-in cut purse. That's kind of cool. Omen. That's good name, good name. Increases Amon's melee damage and maximum shield capacity for a period of time. Rushing lava. Scorching smashes radius is increased and stores damage. After a delay, fire breaks out at the feet of up to 3 enemies. Damn. That's kind of cool. When Amon kills a weakened enemy, the enemy will explode, inflicting burns to nearby enemies. Damn, dude, Amon gameplay is gonna look wild. With lifesteal, pulling out your ordnance will be the same as entering Iron Bear with any character, pretty much. Dude, Amon gameplay is just gonna look crazy. Shit's just gonna be fucking exploding everywhere. This is... Fellas, we found him. Salvador is back. You're not gonna be able to fucking see anything. Like, it's just gonna be blinding. It's gonna be amazing. I might be an Amon bro now. I might be jumping on that Amon train. Holy shit, dude. Salvador and Moe's child. Yeah, pretty much. Holy fuck. He's just gonna be a fucking walking fireworks show. That's awesome. When Amon applies electric shock to an enemy, its critical hit rate is increased for a period of time. When Amon inflicts burn on an enemy, its critical damage is increased for a period of time. So, does Rafa also have a skill that gives him crit percent? Does every character just have random crits? Because I know Vex and now Amon also does. That's 2 of 4 that have random crits. I'm kind of not into that. I didn't really like it. I mean, okay, to be fair, I think it's probably, like, not that big of a deal. Likely it's gonna be, like, fucking... Well, I don't know. I can't say it's not gonna be a big of a deal, or a big deal until I see what, like, gear is and shit. If there's, like, something with crazy on-crit effects, then that's gonna be kind of fucked up. But, you know, it's weird that so many characters are getting auto-crits. When launching a fierce attack, the effect rate of Amon's status is increased. Pressing F will fire a concentrated wave of lightning, dealing electric melee damage to enemies it passes through. The effect rate of Amon... Okay, I'm thinking that's probably... Yeah, no, that's probably status effect chance. I think I'm thinking too much about what is probably a mistranslation. I feel like that, like, my initial assumption was that might have been, like, the ticks, like the amount that it ticks per second or something. That's probably not what it is. But if it is... when Amon activates his cannon, his next gun bullet is converted to incendiary damage, staggering enemies damaged and increasing damage dealt. Dude, you know what? Okay, I was talking about Outriders in my server the other day, and what fucking this branch is reminding me of is Pyromancer gun builds. I forget what the skill was called, but you, like, infuse your gun with fucking incendiary damage, and I referenced it when I made Nadifa. My custom Vault Hunter, for those that haven't seen it. It's a 40-minute video. I highly recommend it. Yeah, no, like, just imbuing your fucking gun for a brief period of time with, like, a bunch of stats is pretty much what that was, and it was really fun. And this is kind of what he's sounding like to me. I fuck with it. According to Amon's shield value, his status effect damage and artillery damage are increased. The fuller his shield, the stronger this effect. Rock Fist, when Amon causes melee damage, a certain percentage of his cooldown time of the forging skill is restored. Melee attacks will double this effect. Increase melee damage to his enemies with less than 50% total health. Like, okay, so what I'm noticing immediately with this, kind of playing back into my complaint with Stole Trees. Again, this is translation. There's very rough translations. Nothing I say in this section is 100%. But if you're trying to do a gun damage build with Amon, okay, if you want a red tree gun damage build, it actually sounds like you're pretty much, like, it... It sounds bad, but, like, it sounds like you're pretty much guided through where to go. There's not that many gun-related skills. And it seems like it kind of is almost, while messier still, it almost sounds more like how you would do the same sort of thing where you wanted to spec for a specific type of thing in, like, the previous games. But if you're trying to do a fucking melee build, you're all over the place, dude. You're fucking everywhere. I don't know. I hear some blood explosion action here. Almost sounds like it. Rafa has random crits too, yes, in the blue tree left branch. God fucking damn it, dude. That's another complaint I've been having is fucking... There's a lot of characters that just have a lot of overlap with each other in their skill trees. And I'm not huge into that. Also really not huge into random crits in general. I thought that was, like, the worst part of Wonderlands, but I kind of forgave it in Wonderlands because it made sense with how, like, it's based off tabletop games. By the way, speaking of tabletop games... Wrong way. Or, yes. Absolute banger, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. They're making a sequel right now. I got that recently, and it fucking slaps. Storm Guillotine. Holy fuck, that sounds awesome. Scorching Smash is now Storm Guillotine. Hold F to swing your giant forged sword, dealing a wave of forged energy that deals electric melee damage. Each time you hit an enemy, you will recover the active still cooldown, active still duration, and artillery cooldown. Alright. Oh wait, there was one more still back here, right? No? Is he not going to look at... There's a still there! I guess we'll never know what that one is. Whipping. Amon will equip a forged shield to absorb all frontal damage and convert it into Vengeance. When the Vengeance bar is full, the forged shield will provide damage reduction. If Vengeance is not obtained within a period of time, it will be consumed quickly. She's back. Athena is back. Press F to fire Forged Wave, dealing frost damage to enemies it passes through, consuming damage. Actually, it sounds more like Braum. Vengeful Rage Boost. Improves Amon's status effect application rate and freezing efficiency when it activates an action still. This effect is doubled. Amon's gun damage and magazine capacity. Artillery mag capacity. Each time Amon takes or absorbs gains health restoration. Each time Amon takes or absorbs non-status damage. We did it, fellas. He's a tank. He gains a layer of resoluteness for a period of time, increasing this effect. Max health capacity, repair kit healing. Dude, Amon's kind of dope. I fuck with him. Higher Amon's health is, the more gun damage he gains. That literally is a skill that Vex also has, 1-for-1. When launching the whip, Amon will taunt the enemies and send out a freezing pulse every second, causing freezing damage to enemies and restoring the health of allies. While aiming, Amon's movement speed is reduced, but Amon's duns will gain bonus frost damage, and each shot will consume vengeance. Dude, blue kind of fucks. I like this vengeance shit. That's really cool. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. When Amon causes artillery damage, there's a chance that the frozen status effect will be applied, causing continuous freezing damage for a period of time. Comet Tail is affected by status effect inflict rate. Forge Rays now consume more Vengeful Rage and explode on impact, dealing AoE. Active still duration and gun switching speed. Cool. I mean, immediately this actually, like, seems like the most immediate synergy that I've seen between the top section of a tree and another tree. Like, red and the top section of blue actually seem to have a lot of synergy for a gun build. Amon might just be the best design character. I'm still probably going to play Vex, though. Amon's bullets have a chance to ricochet as elemental echoes, causing frost damage. Oh, no! Indiscriminate's back! It kills still. Amon restores a percentage of the artillery cooldown time. Increases the frost damage caused by Amon. Amon uses a repair kit while launching his active stow. The duration of the active stow will be partially restored. That's very cool. Increase Amon's ricochet damage, burn damage, and burn duration. Forged Waves is now Fire Rebuke. Consume all isn't... They use that as a skill for Clawbringer too, right? Consume all Vengeful Rage and hurl your Forged Shield at the... It is a fucking... It's Athena! Hurl your Forged Shield at the targeted enemy, dealing incendiary cannon damage that ricochets on impact. Fiery Rebuke ricochets additional times based on Vengeful Rage spent. When throwing a forward shield, damage absorption is disabled until it returns. Oh my god, it comes back and you can just, like, continue? That's really cool. Coastal use burning damage to kill an enemy when you will gain a layer of fire adaptability for a period of time. The stacking of fire adaptability will increase the reload speed and active store cooldown rate. Cool. World Destroyer. When Amon lands and slams, he consumes all fire compatibility stacks to create a fire fissure in front of him, dealing burning melee damage to all enemies hit. Jesus Christ, he has so much shit going on. Amon might just be fucking difficult, too. You just gotta remember so much fucking shit. God damn. Disto Inferno. When Amon applies incineration to an enemy, his rate of fire will be increased for a period of time. Amon gains a super shield overshield when dealing artillery damage. Oh, hold on. I'm noticing something. So it seems that there is a class mod equipped here. It seems like you might not actually get your stills active if you don't have a point into it. We might be back to BL2 rules for class mods. Or like still points on class mods. That kind of sucks. Because I'm pretty sure that should say that you have currently 2 out of 5 on, like, when you're hovering over it, and it should be saying the bonus that you have if that's active. That's speculation, but it is seeming like we might be back to the BL2 style of things for that. Which I thought that was a really good change for BL3. I guess Gearbox disagreed. Ring of Frostfire, his capstone. Firewall is now circular, dealing burning status effect damage to enemies within it and causing freezing damage to enemies entering or leaving. Cooling Cloak. Killstone restores some of World Breaker's cooldown. I guess we're just missing those 2 stills. We don't get to see those. Ice Rage, killing still. Use freezing damage. When you kill an enemy, you gain a layer of freezing adaptability for a period of time. Stacking of freezing adaptability will increase the damage of the gun. Eternal Winter. Forged Waves now partially restore the duration of active stills and Firewall when damaging an enemy and can be activated up to 3 times in a row. The 3rd time it is activated, it will fire a giant Forge Wave that deals higher damage and does not consume Vengeance. Amon's gun critical hits have a chance to apply additional weaknesses or slowness to the enemy. Same effect as Cryo when causing freezing damage. Amon deals increased damage to frost enemies and bosses. 2? So, okay, this is potentially 2 things, or either 2 things. Either this is like he deals bonus damage to frost-attuned enemies, which I kind of doubt that's the case. That would be an interesting one, because, like, that's a difficulty when you make, like, an elemental build and you come up against an elemental enemy that is of that type. Most players understand. That does suck. Amara has that capstone that kind of fixes that, but this could maybe be that, but I think what this is actually probably saying is this is probably just an inbuilt icebreaker. Although it's saying end bosses either means that we can freeze bosses, or that it is actually just about, like, cryo-attuned enemies. That's one we'll just have to see when the actual translation comes. When Amon applies a status effect to an enemy, there is a chance to restore some of his shields and ammunition. When Amon causes artillery damage, it will consume the corresponding number of frozen adaptabilities stacking. Adaptability stacking layers according to the number of nearby enemies, generate tracking echoes, and cause ranged frozen damage. God, dude, you're gonna do anything and so much shit is just gonna happen on screen. I kind of love it. Epileptics do not play Amon. Holy fuck. Elemental Echo has a chance to ricochet, so your ricochets can ricochet. No way. Oh, it's Spore Warden. Firewall is now Ice Frenzy. Hold F to swing your Forged Steel Whip, hitting nearby enemies twice and dealing frost damage and slamming the ground, creating a frost rift that deals frost damage and leaves behind a source of frost for a while. Storm Spear, Forged Waves, is now Storm Lance. Press F to throw a Forged Spear, dealing shock damage on impact, consuming damage from the Revengeful Rage boost. Enemies damaged by the Frost Spear are poised for a period of time and will detonate when damaged by the Forged Steel, dealing shock damage to the target but not to nearby enemies. Thunder's Fury, Kill Skill. When you kill an enemy with electric damage, you will gain a layer of electric suitability for a period of time. The stacking of electric suitability will increase the critical damage. Thump Anvil. I hope that's the name. That's incredible. When Amon causes active steel damage, he consumes a layer of electricity adaptability and generates a Forged Thunderbolt to attack the enemy, causing electricity damage. Kill Steel, Amon recovers a certain percentage of cooldown time of the Forging Steel. Amon's Hip Fire will increase his rate of fire, but reduce his gun control when aiming, increases gun damage and gun handling. That sounds like it could either be really good or really ass. Firewall is now Wrath of Heaven. Press F to summon a giant forged sword and attack the target enemy, causing shock damage to enemies in range. Ultra High Voltage, Elemental Thunderbolt now staggers enemies and consumes an additional stack of shock adaptability to multiply the damage done. Man, are they actually fucking saying multiply in these skills? Is that real? Or is that translation? Oh my god, dude, if they actually explain what numbers do in-game, this could be the best game ever. Holy fuck. Boss enemies cannot be staggered, and villain enemies have a reduced chance of staggering. So probably badass enemies have a reduced chance of staggering. Alright, green. Harsh Furnace. Amon will be equipped with a forged axe that cannot be thrown and picked up from the ground to return the cooldown. Press whatever to throw flaming, so probably left click to throw flaming axe, dealing burning melee damage, and then right click to throw your frost axe. Enemies damaged by the forge axe will be put into a ready state for a period of time. When they die or... Oh, fuck. Oh, I can do it. One more tree. Let's go. I can read. Enemies damaged by the forge axe will be put into a ready state for a period of time. When they die or are staggered by the forging steel, they will explode, causing damage to nearby enemies. Very cool. That's the one that we've seen a lot of. Cast Iron improves Amon's forging steel cooldown rate and gun control. Kill Steel increases the elemental damage caused by Amon for a period of time. After dealing melee damage, its effect is doubled for a period of... increases Amon's crit damage. After dealing melee damage, its effect is doubled for a period of time. So that'll be really good. That's tier 1. That'll be great to pick up with this red tree melee crit thing. Amon increases Amon's reload speed. This effect is doubled for a period of time after detonation. You know what's funny? I think Amon actually has some of the most directly gun-related skills out of the other characters that we've seen so far. I haven't counted, but so far it seems like Amon has the most, like, just direct buff your gun skills, which is kind of funny from the melee character. While Amon is reloading, his gun gains bonus electric damage for a period of time. That's kind of cool. Each layer of ready to fire increases the firearm damage taken by the ready enemy. If Amon detonates an enemy in preparation... There's so many fucking words here that just don't make sense. Detonates an enemy in preparation, a new forged axe will be created, which will automatically seek out nearby enemies. So I guess if he throws his axe and he kills the enemy, another axe will be thrown from that enemy towards another one? Like the bouncy phase grasp, maybe, I guess? Oh, that one, that's a rough translation. Forging drone skill. When Amon activates the forging skill, it will spawn a tomahawk forging drone that will attack nearby enemies for a period of time, causing burning melee damage. If the tempering pyro is already active, activating the forge skill will fully restore the duration of all active forging drones. That sounds like it could be fun. I mean, it also kind of just sounds like Rafa's drones, but that's alright. This one's an axe. After Amon damages an enemy with his forged axe, his movement speed will increase for a period of time and can use melee attacks to detonate the enemy in preparation. Detonating the flame axe will restore the active still cooldown. Detonating the frozen axe will restore the cannon's cooldown. Increase Amon's forging still damage and detonation damage. Activates his forging still. His done damage will be increased for a period of time. Tempering Pyro now spawns an additional axe smithing drone that deals melee frost damage. Killstall, Amon gains gun critical hit rate for a period of time. Another one! Holy shit. Oh, we skipped a still, I guess. Active still damage has a chance of critically hit. Wait, active still damage has a chance to critically hit and burn the enemy. Frost Axe applies freeze on impact. Flaming Axe will now pierce through enemies. When Amon freezes an enemy, a freezing hazard source will be generated under the enemy's feet, causing freezing damage for a period of time. Increases Amon's status effect damage and hazard source damage. When using firearms to cause burning damage, the freezing damage is increased for a period of time. When using firearms to cause freezing damage, the burning damage will be increased for a period of time. Detonating restores some of Amon's shields and cannon cooldown. Flaming Boomerang. The double blade now deals burning melee damage from 2 directions with the larger radius and leaves a trail of fire when flying close to the ground, dealing burning damage over time. Causing an explosion or damaging an enemy with the fire boomerang will restore the cooldown of the blacksmithing skill. So that just turns into like a fucking glaive. That's kind of cool. When Amon causes forging damage, he will generate drone singularities for a period of time. Forging drone still. When Amon activates the active still, it will spawn a sword forging drone. You just have a lot of fucking drones. Holy shit. AFK Amon's gonna be fucking crazy, dude. I forgot you streamed. Yeah, I do be streaming. That's one thing the bitches always be saying about me is I do be streaming. How's it going, Fish? I'm losing my voice. I've been I've been reading Amon for too long. When Amon activates the active still, it will spawn. Okay, yeah. Attack nearby enemies, causing shock melee damage. Tempered lightning is active. Activating the active still will restore a portion of the duration of all active forge drones. Blade Storm. Amon will now be equipped with a forge sword, with a choice of fire or electricity effects. When enabled, all charges will be consumed to the fire the forge sword barrage. To fire the forge sword barrage. Enemies damaged by the forge sword will be... Forge sword is really difficult to say. I hope that's not actually the name of it. Will be put into a ready state for a period of time. When they die or are damaged by the forging still, they will detonate and cause damage to the target, but will not harm nearby enemies. Press to fire a barrage of flaming swords, dealing melee or burning melee damage or shock melee damage. When Amon or his forged drones critically strike an enemy or create a detonation, his damage is increased for a period of time. Detonations grant multiple stacks. Amon is gains overshield when dealing active still damage. He also has that in one of his other trees. Amon's gun bullets have a chance. Amon's gun bullets, specifically the gun bullets, have a chance. What's funny is that actually probably is how that works. Just with how Borderlands classifies shit. Amon's gun bullets have a chance to generate elemental thunderbolts when they critically hit, causing electric shock damage. So, okay, Amon is Athena, Salvador, and Mose, and Clawbringer. Brother's just hitting you with that 4-in-1. God damn. God damn. His dick must be huge and it must be swanging. Holy shit. Increase the attack speed and movement speed of the forged drone. Sharpen the tip. Amon's just the tip still, speaking of his cock and balls. Forging drones now have a chance to critically strike. When the forged drone critically strikes, part of Amon's active still cooldown will be restored. Storm Surge is his capstone here. Double Edge is now Storm Surge. Hold F to throw a pair of twin forged blades that deal area of effect electric and melee damage on impact. Storm Surge creates a forging storm for a period of time upon impact, dealing electricity status effect damage. Final one, fellas. We're almost there. Final stretch. Increase the damage and detonation radius of Amon's artillery. Amon will now be equipped with a forged hammer with a choice of frost or shock effects. Enemies damaged by the forged hammer will be in a ready state for a period of time. When they die or are damaged by the forging stove, they will explode, causing damage to nearby enemies. Press to throw the frozen hammer, causing ranged freezing melee damage or electric. Tempering Ice, forged drone skill. When Amon activates his artillery, he will spawn a hammer forged drone that will attack nearby enemies for a period of time, dealing freezing melee damage. Increase the damage and duration of forged drones. Okay. I kind of want to... I think I need to take back what I was saying about Amon's trees being really cool so far. The green tree has a lot of redundant shit. I don't know if I'm crazy, but it feels like every fucking one of these branches has had like some sort of overlap with another one. This tree's kind of mid. It sounds really cool. I like the idea of like the forged drone shit, but like that seems to be the only thing that this tree has going on for it. It's kind of boring. Not a huge fan of this tree. Red and blue are fucking bangers though. What gear would you choose to return in BO4? Mine's the Pimpernel and the Headsplosion. The fucking pitchfork. I just need the goddamn pitchfork back. But it won't come back. Because there's no doll. There's no doll in BL4. So I'm not going to get the pitchfork back unless it comes back as a fucking Daedalus or something. But I want my goddamn doll pitchfork. Maybe it's the support tree that functions to boost the other trees. Well, the problem is, this entire tree seems so heavily tied to the axes. Like... You need the axes to summon these drones, and this tree is almost entirely about these drones. Like, this is just, if you want to go green tree, you go green tree. Otherwise, you just do the other two trees, it seems like. Dude, I'm bummed about Doll being gone. Daedalus is, like, kind of the replacement, but it ain't gonna be the same. It ain't gonna be the same. That being said, Daedalus snipers are kind of fucking sexy. Not quite as sexy as doll snipers. Don't get me wrong. But they are up there. I did think that they were dolls for a second. Before they announced that doll was not returning. Heavy weapons have a chance to return 1 ammunition when they damage an enemy. That's kind of nice. That's like deja vu, pretty much. That's the one thing this does actually have, to be fair. There is also some artillery stuff in here, but there is also... or ordnance shit in here, but there's also ordnance shit in every other tree as well. I think green tree's kind of mid. When dealing artillery damage, its rate of fire is increased. Again, this is also translations. Things could definitely be a lot better than they sound through these translations. When dealing artillery damage, its rate of fire is increased for a period of time. And then the capstone here. Hold F to throw your wait. I can't fucking read that top bit. Hold F to throw your twin forged hammers, dealing freezing melee damage to nearby enemies on impact and ricocheting up to 3 times between nearby enemies. If no ricochet target is found, the hammers deal additional damage before self-destructing. And then hammer forged drones can now deal artillery damage in addition to their original damage types and have a chance to trigger an explosion when damaging an enemy, causing ranged freezing damage. Whew! That was a lot to fucking read, but we got through it. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think Amon's really cool. Genuinely, I think he's a lot more interesting than I thought. It sounds like they actually did make a pretty successful tank character. We'll see how that actually turns out in game, but he sounds fucking dope. Green Tree's just kind of disappointing. Like, again, it has the drone thing, which I think the drone stuff is really cool. But that's like the entire tree. That's every single branch. If there was ever going to be a fucking skill tree that seems like it should just all progress as one tree, it's probably this one. Order guns feel boring as hell for me. I mean, the thing is with the guns, I need to actually use them before I can make a verdict on them. I don't know. I thought Daedalus was going to be boring until apparently they do actually change how they function depending on the ammo type that they used. I thought the Daedalus guns were like the doll replacement is just the purely simple thing that didn't really do much. I thought the ammo swap only changed what ammo pool it was pulling from, but it seems like they do actually like change what they do. So you could actually have like an AR shotgun in one, which is kind of cool. I kind of fuck with that a little bit more than I did previously. That being said, I still miss Doll. I want Doll. I want Doll back. Fuck Daedalus. Man, I think that's not about to do it. I think I kind of covered most of the shit that I wanted to cover here. We aren't going to be getting around to gameplay today, unfortunately, because honestly, that kind of killed my throat reading all that shit. And also, I plan on going out for a little bit today, so I might go do that. I might go outside and socialize with a friend. Crazy. Anyways, as always, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. Thank you to the new people that came to hang out. I definitely appreciate the follows and potentially the likes if you watch it on YouTube. This will be up immediately on Twitch. It will also be up immediately on YouTube. However, it might go down for a little bit while I try to get the little intro bit trimmed out. But it'll be up if you missed anything, want to go back and watch anything. And yeah. If Doll returns, what can they offer us? Being Doll. Doll's based in fucking epic. I love them. Fuck Daedalus. Doll's the best. But yeah, with that all being said, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I think I said this already. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, morning, night, whatever the fuck time it may be. And I will I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll see you guys playing BL4 in like 2 months. Bye. That's my oops, that's the wrong hand. I need that hand so I can end stream. Bye.